Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to tackle a fascinating dilemma that's honestly been a huge headache for creators, builders, and economists for decades. We're looking at how we can fundamentally rewrite the economics of public goods. For the longest time, the people building the most crucial infrastructure for our society, the open source software, the community resources, the foundational protocols, they've had the absolute hardest time getting funded. But today, we're going to see how new technologies are literally letting us escape those traditional traps to finally align profit with actual positive impact.
Here's our roadmap. We've got 6 parts. 1. Defining true public goods. 2. The income evil curve. 3. The traditional funding trap. 4. Quadratic funding. Amplifying grassroots. 5. Retro PGF, rewarding proven impact. And 6. The future of public value. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Defining true public goods.
Now, when economists say public good, they don't just mean something that's, generally nice for the public. It's super specific. A pure public good has to be non-excludable, meaning you can't easily lock people out of it. And it has to be non-rivalrous, which basically means if I use it, there's still exactly the same amount left for you. Think of a lighthouse, right? Or in the digital world, an open source encryption algorithm. The absolute key takeaway here is that true public goods provide massive benefits to society, what economists call positive externalities, without naturally charging the users. Let's compare an airline ticket with open source code to really highlight the difference. An airline ticket is a classic private good. If I buy seat 12A, you can't sit there. It's completely competitive and highly excludable. Traditional markets handle private goods perfectly. But open source code, it breaks the whole mold. If I use a piece of open source code to build an app, it doesn't stop you from using that exact same code. It creates this vast societal value. But because it's open to all, traditional markets just completely struggle to figure out how to pay the original developer.
Section 2. The income evil curve.
So what happens when we try to force a public good into a profit-driven box? Well, Vitalik Buterin mapped this out with an awesome concept called the income evil curve. It shows the societal harm, or the evil, of commercializing a public good. Take Alice. She sells Ethereum at market price. That's a private good functioning normally, so the societal harm is incredibly low. But then look at Charlie. He builds a bridge. It's a public good, but he needs cash, so he charges a toll. That toll inherently prices some people out, right? By monetizing it, he reduces the overall societal benefit. That's medium harm. Now imagine Fred. He invents an amazing encryption algorithm. If it stays open source, it's a massive positive externality for everyone. But to make money, he sells exclusive patents to a huge corporation. He gets rich, sure, but he completely destroys its open source nature. That is high on the evil curve. This quote from the Web3 Public Goods Ecological Research Report really hits the nail on the head. Monetizing public goods involves diminishing those positive externalities because you're introducing a form of charging for their beneficial impact. Basically, if you monetize something meant for everyone, you're forced to build a wall around it. And that is the exact opposite of what a public good should be. You're literally degrading the utility of your own creation just to make a profit.
Section 3. The traditional funding trap. So this dynamic leads to what we call the valley of death. It's this absolutely fatal gap between having an amazing early innovation and actually finding sustainable funding. And it's where most public goods projects just straight up die. Because of that income evil curve we just talked about, founders are put in an impossible spot. You either go broke giving your work away for free, or you ruin your product by slapping up paywalls to appease traditional investors. And crypto news points this out perfectly. The traditional VC funding model completely fails Web3 projects. VCs understandably need a return on their investment, which forces those extractive monetization models. They want to know exactly how you're going to squeeze value out of your users. But that mindset just does not align at all with open source sustainability or decentralized community-led projects. So here is the multi-million-dollar question. How do we fund the future without extracting from it? If VCs force extraction and giving it away for free starves the builder, what's the fix? Well, thankfully, Web3 has engineered some truly brilliant mathematics-based answers to this.
Section 4. Quadratic funding. Amplifying grassroots.
Let's talk about the first major paradigm shift, quadratic funding, or QF. Think of QF as a way to mathematically guarantee that everyday people matter more than a billionaire's wallet. It's a 3-step process. First, a community donates small amounts to projects they love. Second, a matching pool of funds activates based on that participation.
And third, this is the magic part, a mathematical formula distributes the pool based on the number of unique contributors, not just total dollars. It mathematically amplifies the little guy. 10 people giving $1 triggers a way larger match than one wealthy person giving $10. Why does this matter? Because it actively empowers grassroots projects over heavily capitalized ones. It completely aligns with Web3 decentralization, and it actually gamifies community engagement. By doing this, it protects open source projects from corporate capture. We've already seen this successfully fund public goods like Gitcoin and Tornado Cash. If you build a tool that 10,000 people find even slightly useful, you're going to get massive funding from that matching pool, even if they only donated a few pennies each. It's totally democratizing the funding process.
Section 5. Retro PGF, rewarding proven impact.
Now for the second massive innovation, retroactive public goods funding. This takes the traditional VC timeline and completely flips it on its head. Usually, you pitch an idea, get cash, and hope you build something useful. With Retro PGF, you build the public good first, in month 1, and give it away for free. By month 6, you deliver measurable impact. Maybe thousands of devs start using your library. Then at month 12, a decentralized community verifies that value. Finally, at month 18, you are retroactively awarded funding based on your proven success.
And if you're thinking this is just some theoretical white paper pipe dream, check this out. $2 billion. The Layer 2 network Optimism has already generated over $2 billion in impact-based funding using this exact model. They are routinely handing out millions to developers who have proven that they built infrastructure to make the network better. It's very real. It's really the old world versus the new world. In the old world of traditional VC, everything is based on speculative promises. It forces extractive monetization and prioritizes whales. But Retro PGF, it's based on verified historical success. It prioritizes actual community value and allows for free open source growth. By destroying that speculative risk model, founders can focus 100% of their energy on building the absolute best, most accessible solution possible. Because the more people who use it, the higher your reward. Your exit incentive literally becomes your public impact.
Section 6. The future of public value.
Let's bring this all together. We are witnessing the birth of a totally new capital allocation layer, an impact economy. We're seeing things like streaming Quadratic funding for continuous, real-time support. We've got contract-secured revenue, which automatically routes gas fees directly back to builders. We're even seeing the tokenization of real-world impact, turning actual good deeds into digital assets, all managed by DAOs, ensuring fair distribution. These mechanisms could genuinely replace traditional venture capital for public goods. Which brings us to a final thought to close out this explainer. For a long time, we've just kind of accepted that doing good for the world goes unrewarded, while building extractive monopolies makes you rich. But if Web3 tools like Quadratic funding and RetroPGF can truly align your financial reward with your societal value, well, that changes the whole game. So ask yourself, what could you build if your profit exactly equaled your positive impact? Think about how these tools could transform your community and start figuring out how you can participate in a system that coordinates true human flourishing.